Hi there and welcome to Wine Searcher. Today, because last week was National Prosecco Week, I thought we'd try a Prosecco, the fizz. So, one of the things about Prosecco is the fizz differs from what you get with a champagne. You'll find the bubbles are larger and rise more quickly. So, anyway. Here we are looking at Santa Margherita's Valdobbiadene. It's a Superiore. Valdobbiadene, the town that it's from, actually the premium region for Prosecco is Conegliano-Valdobbiadene, but this is specifically from within that region from the town of Valdobbiadene. What's premium Prosecco? Well, in honesty, premium Prosecco is not a huge premium. Round Valdobbiadene, the yields are restricted, so you should get more concentrated fruit flavours. In general, the sites used are better because there are more hillside sites used. So there are small quality improvements, but actually the method of production, you're still getting a wine that has its second fermentation in a pressurised tank. And what that does is it's preserving the lovely fruit flavours of the Glera grapes that are being used in this, because once the next stage to round out the bubbles in a sparkling wine is to age it with its yeast lees, which if you're doing that in champagne you're doing it in the bottle, but obviously this has done its second fermentation in the tank, so you're not going to tie up a large expensive stainless steel tank for 2, 3, 4 years to give that yeast autolysis flavour and to give the effect that gives on making the bubbles smaller. So as a result, what you get is not a flavour, not a wine like champagne which is made from fairly neutral grapes that then has flavours of yeast layered over it. You've got a wine that preserves the quite simple fruit of Glera grapes there. Santa Margherita, large cooperative. They're one of the largest producers actually of Pinot Grigio, so for the Veneto they're an important producer. So let's have a look at the wine. Looking at it there, it's water white, maybe a touch of greenness. There's some green in the background there. You can see bubbles rising quite happily. They're fairly large bubbles. They're not rising in a fine bead, and you know, I'm not going to leave it for a while, so the fizz will still be there when I'm drinking it. Aromas, I'm glad to say there's a lovely, quite simple aroma of ripe pear, almost a sort of a tinned pear. There's a sort of that slight rich syrupy note to it, maybe, you know, slightly grassy notes, but generally that straightforward pear apple sort of flavours there. Tasting it, there's a real foam on the front of my tongue. It's a soft sparkle, fairly large bubbles. There's lovely fresh acidity down the sides of my tongue. And again, that makes me think of that sort of, this time, fresh cut pear, not your tinned pear. It's juicy, which gives reasonable length to the flavour. The flavour's fairly simple. It's not developing. There's not a layer of yeasty notes there. Maybe a very tiniest touch there at the back, sort of just rounding out the finish, but it's not to the fore. The flavours are simple. They're starting to fade quite quickly. But yes, in general, a dry sparkling wine. I mean, this is labelled Brut, which can have up to 12 grams of sugar in it, 12 grams per litre of sugar in it. But because of the lovely freshness of the acidity, it doesn't taste sweet. Maybe it just takes the sharpness out of the end of it, making it a nice, easy drink. You've got fruit, you've got soft bubbles, and a really straightforward fruit aroma that lasts reasonably well. So, Prosecco, everybody. Cheers.